Hello and welcome to the OzPower podcast. This is episode 6. My name's James, here with Pat as always, and today we are in sunny Adelaide with one of the royalty of Australian Power, Mr. Patrick Morrison.
About that.
Thanks for joining
Jesus.
us, mate.
No problem.
Thank you. So I want to start this off, Pat. I've written down a couple of things here that I've already shown you, but
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting. So I just want to quickly cover it. So in competition, so far you're unbeaten.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of sanctioned competition.
Sanctioned competition.
Oh,
That's all
and
it
pro
matters.
novice meet, like my very first novice meet.
Yeah.
I lost. I came fourth.
That doesn't count. We'll leave that out. So
It's on formula though. It's on formula.
All right. So that includes your last 4 Pro Raws,
Yep.
the 2016 GPC Nationals, and that was for your weight class and overall best lifter. Yeah. So you also currently hold the highest 10 times bodyweight total.
Yep.
800 at 79.9.
Yep.
And the GPC deadlift record of 320 at 82.5. That's
yeah.
all.
It's pretty pathetic. That 320.
But that's all correct?
Yeah, that's all accurate. Yep.
Yeah. So that's pretty impressive.
Pretty.
Very impressive. So what weight class are you in now?
I was be competing at 82 and a half. Yep.
Yeah. And what's your best total currently?
847 and a half.
47.5. Cool.
Yeah.
So how did you, how did you first get into this and how long have you been competing for? Or training for?
I've been training since 2008. I used to be fat, so I tell everyone that I used to be overweight, but I was just over 100 kilos, I think, and just over 100 kilos at my height,
Which is
with no muscle, 168 centimeters, just for those people out there. Yeah, that's fat.
Yeah.
So I lost, I think, close to 30 kilos, just from crash dieting pretty much.
Okay.
Lost it over 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I just thought I'll start training. So I did.
Yeah.
Started training a little gym. It's on Torrens. It doesn't matter. People in Adelaide will know Torrens Road. It's called Fox's Gym. They're actually owned by a guy used to be a powerlifter.
Yeah.
So just right from the start, I was doing squats, deads, bench.
Yeah. Cool.
And then started competing in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your first introduction to weight training in general was at a powerlifting gym?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And so when did you realise that you wanted to actually pursue it?
From the start.
Right from the start?
Yeah, so right from the start, I started training and I guess I was kind of strong.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much at bench, but I realised I could squat a bit and deadlift a fair bit. So yeah, back then I think it was only really the IPF I was looking at. Didn't realise it was single ply, and I used to compare myself to the IPF records back then and in the single ply and wraps, and I was just like, oh, well, this guy's current record was 240 kilos, and I'm like, oh, I reckon I could do that. I reckon I'll get close to that.
Yeah.
And at the time, I think my best squat might have been 200 kilos high bar.
Yeah.
Just in a pair of Dunlop volleys.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what single ply was, or knee wraps.
Yeah.
So, always had the plans to compete, but didn't do it for 6 years because I didn't think I was good enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So what was your sporting background before you got into this? Did you play any competitive sport as a kid?
No, I was never really allowed to play sport as a kid because I was always little.
Yeah.
So I was always told I was too small. Wanted to play rugby, I was too small.
Yeah.
And then I came from Mum was from New South Wales,
Yeah.
growing up in Adelaide, but Mum was from New South Wales, and my stepdad was Maori, so no one played AFL.
Right.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, AFL was not a done sport. You were either into rugby, and if it wasn't rugby, then it was boxing.
Yeah.
So.
Or you were just a fat kid.
Yeah, or you're just a fat kid.
Yeah.
So I was just a fat. No, I wasn't a fat kid. But I just didn't play any sports. Run amok a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Cool.
Dabbled in a little bit of boxing.
Yeah.
But then I never really liked hitting people. I was good at hitting people, but I never really liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So what's it about powerlifting then? Not having an athletic, we spoke to Liverpool during the week and it was more the performance elements. You found that it was kind of subjective, training just for physique and those sort of things. What about powerlifting? Grabbed you straight away?
Because I like being strong. It feels good. I just want to be able to push my body pretty much to its absolute limits. I want to know how strong I can get.
Sweet.
Yeah. That's my goal, just to get as strong as I can or break.
Yeah. So that leads into what I had down for my next question. So I spoke to a few people through the week and like just sent some messages to people and said, we're going to be sitting down with Pat. Is there anything you want us to ask?
Yeah.
And one thing that kept coming up was, what's your motivation? Like, what makes you tick and why do you keep doing it? Because obviously, like in sanctioned meets, you're unbeaten. So why, like, what keeps you motivated to keep going? Is it just that?
Yeah, no, I just want to be, I wouldn't say I want to be the best.
Yeah.
That like would be nice, but it doesn't really concern me.
Yeah.
I think I just want to be the best that I can be. And that, to me, that's important.
Yeah.
Just, I got my kids out there in the lounge room, so I just want to be able to set a good example for them.
Yeah.
So that way when they're older, they know that, I did something and I put everything I had into it and I was good at it.
Yeah.
So that way they can see if you give 100% in something, you can be successful.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing with powerlifting.
Yeah. And how old are your kids?
Samson is 7 and Isaiah will be 9 in July.
Okay. So is this something that you'll get them sort of towards, do you think? Or do they play any other sport now?
They like soccer and football, like AFL.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't really push them into it. I'll let them do whatever makes them happy.
Yeah, of course.
If they come to me and said, Dad, I want to do powerlifting, I'll be like, sweet, no worries, let's do it.
Yeah.
But if they didn't, I wouldn't be disappointed.
Yeah, but is that something that you would encourage them to do? No. Okay.
It's shit. Like your body hurts, your shoulders hurt.
Yeah.
Any powerlifter will tell you, like, you wake up sore.
Yeah.
It's, not ideal.
Injuries are just part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess it's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So you just accept it.
Yeah.
Given your competitive record, you're obviously managing injuries pretty well, but
I try my best, yeah.
You're going to cop them.
Yep.
So, I mean, is it just some dream run you've had, or is there recovery involved?
Oh, there's no dream run. there is no dream run. Look, man, Pro Raw 6, I think, that was my first Pro Raw. I had a good run, yeah. I think I had like a 6-week prep into that. Pro Raw 8, I tore my hamstring like 8 or 9 weeks out from it. So I definitely didn't have a good run with that. It was grade 2 hamstring to my right leg. Then Pro Raw 8, I injured myself while competing because that was the last time I cut to 80 kilos, which is stupid. It was a hard cut.
Yeah.
Strained my adductor on my 3rd squat attempt. So yeah, I don't think I've had the best run. Pro Raw 9, I had injury to my left hip. Was having like some really serious TFL issues. I was just in agony all the time. I couldn't squat or deadlift for weeks leading up to the meet. I think I only got 4 squat sessions in beforehand.
Okay.
And I missed like a 305 squat in training.
So comp day, you just got something in you that you can conjure it up and get it done?
Yeah, I was just nervous and I didn't want to lose.
Yeah.
That's 100% what it was. I just did not want to lose.
Cool.
Sick.
There you go.
It's incredibly resilient.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So how do you try to manage your injuries normally? Like, is there specific stuff you do for your rehab or?
Yeah, so I see a physio every 3 to 4 weeks, ideally.
Yeah.
If you're in Adelaide,
Plug. Yeah.
yeah, go see Patrick at Adelaide Advanced Physiotherapy. Hands down, best physiotherapist South Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, he keeps my body together and has been since 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see him regularly.
Yeah.
I'd fall apart if I didn't. At the moment, I've got issues with my right hip. Have a really tight sartorius because I started doing district nursing. So I do a lot of driving around all day. So I'm getting in and out of the car.
Yeah.
Obviously using my right leg to get out of the car constantly.
Yeah.
I just have this like overuse strain of my right hip.
Okay.
I do a lot of work on myself as well. So, just the usual trigger pointing and stuff with the ball.
Yeah.
But then I also have like it's a, what do they call it? Instrument assisted soft tissue manipulation tool. So I've got a metal tool that I use to do what I can with that as well.
Okay, cool. So when you go to the physio, what's his approach? Is it more prehab stuff or is it hands-on work that he does with you? Like, what's his theory?
Hands-on work all the time because there's always something.
Knotted or
yeah, so like I have scoliosis and lordosis, and my spine's pretty jacked up.
Yeah.
My left SIJ is constantly getting jammed up, so it's always hands-on. What does he do? He does doesn't even matter what he does. It's good.
Yeah.
It
works.
He keeps me together. He's a wizard. That's all that matters.
So was your spine pretty messed up before the training?
Yeah.
Like obviously, if you've got.
Yeah, it was. It's. I think I had an X-ray a few years ago on it, and it had like some degeneration in like my lower discs,
Okay.
like my lumbar disc. So
Yeah.
it's just always been crooked. It has nothing to do with training.
Yeah, cool. So with your training, what's your favourite lift?
Probably squats.
Yeah.
Like I'm good at deads, but I just like squatting. I've
Yeah.
always liked squatting. Not
Okay.
low bar squatting, like high bar squatting.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite thing to do.
Yep. Why? Why high bar and why squatting?
High bars just because I think they're a more true test of like a squat strength.
Yeah.
You know, you can cheat a low bar, you can't cheat a high bar.
Mm-hmm.
You start to collapse. You start to getting like, you know, collapse through your thoracic and you're just gone.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Plus, Olympic lifters do high bar squatting, and
Yeah.
they were always like people that I looked at when I wanted to, you know, squat like them.
Yeah.
So that's why high bars and squatting, because I don't know, it just feels good.
Yeah. So when you first started training, was that something that you were taught to do? Like, were you specifically taught high bar, or were you just adamant that that's what you wanted?
Shout out to Wayne Johns, dodgy bastard. He was the powerlifter that owned the gym I first started training at,
Right.
and he never told me what a low bar squat was. He used to low bar squat,
Okay.
but I just started off doing high bars, and he never showed me what Fuzzy was the first person to show me what a low bar squat was, because I had no idea.
Okay.
So I always did high bar squats. I remember when Pat Mendez first put up the video. Remember the video of him squatting 800 pounds when he was fat?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when he uploaded that video to YouTube, and I watched that and I'm like, fuck, I want to squat like that. So I went back into the gym the next day and I started squatting like that,
Mm-hmm.
just because I wanted to be him.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
Fair enough. So now you train from home?
Yep.
Yep. Why is that?
Convenience plus, I don't know, I've got a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
So it's just equipment I've accumulated over a period of time. So
Yeah.
it's just easier.
Yeah. Cool.
And
how did you
I
have a
was
quick
just going to
question
say,
on
with
that?
I think we're pretty much going there anyway. Like we spoke about the motivation factor.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
It's pretty tough to train alone.
I've always done it.
Stuff going, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just used to it. Like, I've trained like consistently now since 2008.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only time I've taken weeks off is when I've had to for a deload.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't training.
Yeah. Cool. Just love it.
Yeah, it was just a part of my life.
Yeah.
So it's like a love-hate thing, but even if I'm having a shit day, I still get it done because I have to.
Yeah,
like,
cool.
I feel like I have to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. So you do a little bit of coaching yourself?
A little bit,
A
yeah.
little bit, yeah. You coach people from home, or it's mostly online stuff? Or
So I coach a couple of people online.
Yeah.
And then I coach some people here at home, yeah.
Yeah. Are you trying to grow that? Like, is that something that you're pursuing?
It's something that I will try to grow
Yeah.
in time, but at the moment, just with work, I don't have the time to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is, the idea's there. It's in
Yeah.
the back of the head.
Don't have the time to train people one-on-one at home, or don't have the time for online stuff as well?
Probably both.
Probably both.
Yeah, so I work full-time nursing, so
Yeah.
trying to, you know, have the motivation to train people here on my days off is,
Yeah.
I do it, but,
Yeah.
you know, I still need some downtime as well.
Yeah, of course. And obviously you don't coach yourself.
No, not anymore.
Yeah. So Thomas Lilly does your programming?
Yeah, Thomas Lilly programs me. He's
Yeah.
did my bench press into Pro Raw 8,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, because I guess I had to just, you know, because I've coached myself, programmed for myself for a long time.
Yeah.
So I sort of just had to build this trust for it with him, and I was just like, well, you can program my bench because that's my shittest lift.
Yeah.
And if I'm happy with what you do with that, then I'll let you take over everything else.
Yeah.
And he did. So, yeah, he's been coaching me since, Pro Raw 8.
Okay. Cool.
When you were programming for yourself, did you have sort of specific methodologies that you like to follow? Was it something that you just trial and error, or cookie cutters, or what were you using?
Oh, fuck, cookie cutters. Don't follow a cookie cutter program. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I use like a lot of just, even for the people that I coach now, I just use mostly linear, just straight linear.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of like what most people at PTC would do as well.
Yeah, that's right.
But that works for my squat and deadlift typically. But in the past, like I think that wave loading works really well for my bench for pushing. So for bench press overheads, I prefer like a wave load.
Yeah. That's a pretty common theme. A lot of people use wave pressing and linear for this one. So.
Linear like serves a purpose to a certain point in pushing, I find, but it gets to a certain point where it just doesn't do the job anymore. Yeah.
And does Thomas structure pretty much the same?
No, so Thomas is fairly linear with even with his bench. Yeah. So, I've always had issues with my bench though, so it's not my favourite thing to do. Yeah. So yeah, let's not talk about bench. Yeah, let's talk about those lifts.
So so Thomas does your programming.
Yeah.
How do you structure your training cycles? Like in between comps, well, first of all, how often do you like to compete? Like what are the comps that you try to do each year?
I compete as often as I like to.
Okay.
Thomas would like it if I didn't compete as often as I do. I think I did the push-pull of Perth, and he didn't want me to do that. He wanted me to have an off-season leading into pro roll, and I was like, no, I'm doing the push-pull. So I would like to compete ideally like 3 times a year, maybe more, provided that I'm injury-free.
Yeah.
So ideally it would be like pro roll, nationals, and then something near the end of the year.
Yeah. So is that the plan this year? So you're going to do nationals?
Yes, I'll be doing nationals.
And then will you do like the GPC push-pull or something as well?
I was going to, but now I'll probably be doing the pro roll battles against Scott Murdoch, and then depending how I pull up after that, I might just do like a short peek into push-pull because I have to beat Josh Tate.
Yeah, well, that's why I asked, because Josh is pretty adamant that he wants to get you on the push-pull.
He's not going to get me on the push-pull. He's like actually dreaming. He can bench 300 kilos, but his deadlift is shit. So.
That's awesome. We'll see Josh in a couple of weeks. That's great.
I messaged him. I said that to him. Like, you've got no hope. Like, I'll just pull whatever I have to beat him.
Yeah. Josh will watch this. A little scene in July.
Sure.
I reckon he'll fire back.
He will, for sure.
This is good. So July.
So why does Thomas want you to spread your training out? Like, is it purely just for recovery, or like what's
recovery and injury management mostly. Yeah. Just because I never really give my body a chance to just recover completely.
Yeah.
After pro roll, I was just like, oh, can I train? Like that was a week of.
Yeah.
Like I competed on the weekend, and the week of I was like, oh, Tom, can I train?
Yeah.
So I was in the gym on Wednesday because I couldn't go any longer without training.
Yeah.
Just because I need to. It's it's what I do.
Yeah. So how much of the year do you spend doing like hypertrophy work where you're trying to grow or condition yourself, and how much is just purely numbers based?
At the moment, I train like I know it makes no sense. So I train for hypertrophy. A certain amount of time out from comp, but because I'm always trying to maintain like a weight class, I'm always eating either at maintenance or at a deficit. So it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So it's not like I'm going to grow, but supplements do help with that. But what can you do?
Yeah.
So you're not looking at mass periods and then trying to do hard cuts. You like to stay pretty close to your weight limit at all times.
Yeah. Ideally, so at the moment, I think I'm like 89 kilos, and I'd like to stay maybe a little bit lighter leading internationals.
Okay. So that was going to be one of my questions. Is your long-term goal to stay in the 82s, or are you planning to gradually go up?
Ideally, I want nationals to be my last 82.5 comp.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because I need to eat.
Yeah.
Like I need to grow. I've spent a long time at 82.5 now. 3 years cutting, like doing hard cuts and trying to stay close where I can cut to 80 or cut to 82.5.
Okay.
So, I need to spend some time growing.
Yeah. So who does your nutritional stuff? Like who decides your macros and that?
Me or Tom.
Yeah.
Like Tom's doing it at the moment mainly because I usually do it myself, but if I'm doing it, I'm not as, I guess I don't stick to it as much. Yeah. So I'll have days where I just like, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to eat what I want.
So Thomas gives you accountability.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So, and even then I still overeat, but at least then he can see it when it's on my fitness pal, and because I track everything that I eat, he'll be like, oh yeah, I can see the Pat's overeaten today.
Yeah, okay.
So it's all right.
Yeah. So what are your calories at normally, and how do you break them up?
At the moment, because I'm technically trying to cut weight, it's like 2,900 on training days and like 28 on non-training days.
Wow. Okay.
which is fuck all.
That's really low, yeah.
Yeah, well, I used to get my nutrition done by Gus, and that was in like 2014.
Yeah.
And he ate me up to like 5,500 calories a day.
Wow.
But I just found that I was just bloated and didn't feel good.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. So what's your macro breakdown within that 28 or 2900?
I couldn't tell you exactly, I reckon. Well, with Tom, like, at the moment, he doesn't care about my macros. He's just more focused on my calories.
Calories, yeah.
But I prefer to have, at least a guideline with macros.
Yeah.
So I think it's like 200 and something grams of protein.
Yeah.
And then 300 and something grams of carbs and the rest fat.
Okay. Yeah. So the obvious assumption there is that it's just if it fits your macro style.
Yeah, 100%.
Just track what you're eating. You don't actually plan anything out.
Yeah. More or less.
When you were doing the 5,500 or whatever it was that a structured eating plan or was that just...
Yeah, and it was fucked.
Yeah.
It was 100.
How many meals?
Well, because at the time, like I was going to uni and I was also doing placement with uni. Mm-hmm. So I was like doing like full-time working hours plus having to study. With shift work and stuff, I guess shift workers would know it's hard to eat. Yeah. So ideally, I think Gus would have had me having, 6 meals or more, but I was having to put it down in like 2 to 3 meals.
Shit.
Damn. That's a lot of food in 2 or 3 meals.
Oh, like, half a kilo of meat plus all the vegetables and stuff and rice, and it was fucked. Your meals were huge. It was just
cups of rice.
Yeah, it was just
it fairly clean, or were you just?
It was all
shit?
clean. No, wow. it was all clean.
That's a lot to fit in 3 meals.
No burgers, no pizza.
No, it was fucked. It was absolutely fucked.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah.
So you mentioned before that you're doing the head-to-head, or the battle at Big Dogs. What's the plan there? Like
to win,
obviously. But like, what are you looking at going in? Are you already training for? Oh, well, I mean, you've got nationals.
Yeah, I've got nationals coming up first, but I guess after that, if I do what I want to at nationals, then it's no way in. And my next comp after battles will be pro raw, so
you got a fair bit of time.
I've got plenty of time to put on weight, and that's what will be happening, provided that I hit what I want to at nationals. So battles, I couldn't even tell you what I'd be aiming to hit because it's like uncharted territory with all the extra calories that I'll be taking in, the extra body weight and stuff.
What are you thinking for your body weight? Like, have you got an idea of where you want to sit?
I'd like to be close to 100 kilos.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And obviously that's the first time you've been there since before you started training.
I got up to 95 in January.
Okay.
Yes, Isaiah? Yes, buddy.
Can I get some tomatoes?
Yeah, man, of course. They're in the fridge here. Just open the fridge.
Can I snag it up?
Isaiah, come say hello to the camera.
Stick your head on camera.
Come.
There's a camera there. Stick your head in.
Put your head in.
Say hello.
You can tell all your friends you're going to be on YouTube now.
There you go.
Samson, do you want to come say hello as well?
YouTube friends.
No, he's too scared. All right. You close the door, please, Isaiah. Thank you.
So, Big Dogs 1, you did the panel with Ed and Critter.
Yeah.
Is that happening again this year?
Officially, I don't think Marcus has posted anything. Unofficially, yeah, he's asked me to. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So how did that come about the first time?
I guess Marcus just inboxed me. I messaged him and I was like, hey man, do you need me to help with anything? And he's just like, yeah, I want you commentating. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm like, I don't really know anything about powerlifting, but all right.
Yeah.
It might surprise people, but I don't spend a lot of time,
studying the sport.
That's an interesting one. Yeah. So you're not one of those stats geeks that has to follow what everyone else is doing?
Not at all, man. That's the thing. Like, I guess like a lot of people follow that, whereas me, strength is strength. Yeah. Like I watch videos of everyone lifting, and I'm impressed by it.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're a novice or they're elite.
Yeah.
People getting stronger is all I really care about. So if it's stats from 20 years ago, don't fucking ask me.
Yeah.
If it's you know, Eric Lee Bridges' last meet. Well, I know he bombed, but I'm joking. But like, if it's numbers that people are putting up in training or in meets, I don't really pay too much attention to it.
Cool.
I've got too much shit to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Powerlifting's not my life, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Which is actually really interesting because, like, as one of the top guys, first of all, you train from home. You're not training in a specialised facility, and you're not really keeping up with what's going on. You're just worrying about your own shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty refreshing.
It's real refreshing, actually. Like,
it's good though because your focus is obviously on what matters.
Yeah.
And not about the other bullshit.
all that really matters. It's kind of the individualisation of the sport, isn't it? Like,
exactly.
Man and man sort of thing, and go up, hit the numbers you can hit, and you win.
Like, I watch the people that I know I'll be competing against.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't change what they're doing in training, but you know, I can sort of attempt to use it for motivation.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really pay too much attention. Like I said, I'll watch videos of anyone.
Yeah, cool. So just going back to the panel, is it going to be Critter and Ed again? Unofficially?
Unofficially, as far as I know, yeah, it's Critter and I and Ed, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And do you know if Critter's doing it? Like, has he agreed to do it?
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Critter doing the battles?
Yeah, he'll be up against Brian Cook.
That's right.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, Critter will win that, but, you know. Brian can weigh in at 100 kilos all he wants. Critter will probably win.
Yeah. So have you been watching Scott? You've been watching his training?
Yeah. You know, I really like Scott. He's really strong.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I watch his training.
Yeah.
What do you think of the concept? Cause
The concept, I think it's a really good idea. I like the idea that you don't have to weigh in. Because, you know, weigh-in doesn't... Weight cuts suck, but weigh-ins don't mean anything. You know, you can have 24-hour weigh-in and you can manipulate your body weight so much. I mean, you got Ben Pollack who, you know, competed at 82.5 and that guy cut from like 98 kilos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got Amit Sapir who squats high as shit, but he cut from like 100 kilos down to 82.5. You know, people do stupid weight cuts.
Yeah.
So weight doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
You know, your total matters, not your body weight.
Yeah. How much what kind of a toll does the weight cut take on you personally? Like, do you notice from your gym lifts to your comps, or do you never max out in training?
For a 2-hour weigh-in, like, I don't think I'll do any of the cuts that I've done in the past again.
Yeah.
So Pro Raw 6, 7, and 8, I cut 8.5 kilos for each one for a 2-hour. It was a 4-hour weigh-in for Pro Raw 6.
Yeah.
But Pro Raw 7 and 8 with a 2-hour weigh-in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cut 8.5 kilos. Definitely affects your squat.
Yeah.
And just, you're dehydrated, increased risk of injury. Like, it's just stupid, but, you know, I just did it to prove a point, more or less.
Yeah, cool. So Pro Raw 9, obviously you won.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel about your performance on the day?
Really good. Yeah, really good. Like, I could have bombed after squats and I would have been happy because, like I said, my squat prep up until then was non-existent.
Yeah.
I'd hit like a few rough singles at 300 kilos in training, so to come out and squat 332 and it move as well as it did, I was just surprised.
Yeah.
I was probably more surprised than anyone else there. So yeah.
Who did you beat at Pro Raw?
Matt
Everyone.
Stenzel. Matt Stenzel. Scott Murdoch was injured, unfortunately, which would have been good to have him there. You know, but I'll get my chance to compete against him later in the year.
Yeah, cool. And how do you set your openers? Like, do you pick your own numbers? Does Thomas pick them?
Like we talk about it.
Yeah.
He'll ask me what I'm thinking about, and I'll say I think I should open on this, and he's like, "Yep, that's good."
Yeah.
And as far as, you know, second and third attempts, they generally get called on the day.
Yeah.
But with deads, I like to make big jumps.
Yeah.
You know, 20 to 30 kilo jumps if I have to.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is your opener usually, like, is it a number you can do for a double, a triple? Like, how do you sort of plan around it?
Ideally, I think with like a bench, I'd like to be able to triple it.
Yeah.
Squats probably the same, and deads, should be able to at least pull 5 reps plus.
Yeah.
With my opener. Yeah.
Okay.
Mainly because, you know, I guess I get nervous like anyone, whereas just I want to get my first dead on the board so that way I have a total.
Yeah.
You know, there's no point setting your opener too high on deads and then you miss it, you got soft knees or your hand rips or something happens.
Yeah.
And then you're out of the meet completely. So I always set my dead pretty low just to get that total.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, so pretty decent jumps. What about with your bench? Are your bench jumps usually pretty big as well?
Not really.
No.
look, 10 kilos is like the biggest jump that I like to make.
Yeah.
With 5 kilos would probably be a little bit, because my bench sucks. You know what I mean? Like I said, I like to have something where I can triple it, because at least then I know I'm going to get it pretty comfortably. So ideally it would be, a 10 kilo jump from opener to second, and then from second to third it might be anywhere between 5 to 10, depending on how the second moves.
Okay. And you just mentioned nerves a second ago.
Yeah.
Do you get nervous in front of crowds as well, or is it really just like the pressure you put on yourself to total?
The pressure from myself. With the crowds, I don't notice them.
Okay.
Like, they're just non-existent to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what other people do, but for me, like, I'm just in the zone. Like, everything else is a blur other than the bar.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
cool.
it's just the pressure on myself.
Yeah.
What does it take to get you to that zone? I mean, are you one of these angry guys that likes to pace up and down and whack yourself in the building?
No, not at all. Yeah, so like I just internalize everything. I get aggressive, but I don't, express it. I just internalize it, and that's how I psych myself up, I guess.
Yeah, cool.
I just think it's a waste of energy to just have someone smack you on the back, or you yell or scream, or slap yourself, or do something stupid. Like a lot of people, no offense, but a lot of people just waste so much energy getting hyped up, and then what happens? They're just overstimulated, and they're not thinking, they're not concentrating, and then they miss their lifts.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of psyching yourself up for a squat or a bench where you got to think about what you're doing?
Yeah, cool.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Do you think that's because of the way you think about the sport? I'm trying to think of how best to phrase this. I mean, some guys get so edgy and so aggressive and so angry, but just you by nature, you seem to be a more chilled out, relaxed kind of guy. You seem to think about the sport.
I'm a very angry person. I'm just throwing that out there. I have like really bad anger issues. It's just all internalized.
Yeah, cool.
I guess it has to do with the way I train. Like, I train by myself. I don't have, someone there to be like, yeah, come on, let's do it. So it's just, I compete the way that I train.
Yeah, cool.
I'm by myself when I train. So when it's comp day, leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
People come up to me and try and talk to me, and I'm just like, look at them, I'm just like, you're saying words, but I'm not comprehending what you're saying because I'm in here.
Yeah, cool.
And that's what I do.
Yeah, cool. I kind of think of the world's great. We've spoken about it, like big basketball fans, and somebody like LeBron or Kobe in the past, Jordan, these guys that get it done when it really matters, like they just prepare in such a way that when those big moments come and all the eyes are on them and the pressure's on, it's water off the duck's back, because they just, I've done this, I want this moment. Anything like that, like you just sort of, I'm prepared, I know what I can do, I'm confident in my ability, let's go pull this fucking weight, or?
Sometimes, I guess, like I do that a little bit, but really not so much. It's just, maybe if it's like a deadlift, like a last deadlift attempt, I'm like, might do that, but not really.
So you don't get nervous in front of the crowds, but does the crowd ever help you? Like, does it ever boost you up a little bit? Or say after your final pull and you kind of look out, is it nice seeing a big crowd?
It is, yeah. So like that's the only time that I actually see the crowd and acknowledge the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, is after that final pull. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, because I'll pull my opening attempt on deads or even like my squats. Like, it's not until my very last deadlift where I'll be like, okay, you're there.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah.
Because I've finished. I've done what I needed to. So it's that game phase is gone.
Yeah. Because
now I can relax.
Yeah.
So up until that point, they don't exist.
Yeah. Cool. And how did you feel about the crowds at Pro or 9 at the Arnold's? Because it was a pretty decent sort of turn.
Yeah, it was a huge crowd.
Yeah.
I think we had like the biggest crowd out of anyone, any sport there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, easily.
I wasn't fazed by it.
Yeah.
We even had Arnie like come around like the side of the cage and try to talk to us through the cage, like with Tony Doherty.
Yeah.
And Matt Stenzel and I were there, sitting there like wrapping our knees, and we just turned around and it was like, the fuck do you want?
Yeah.
Like,
go away, loser.
It was pretty much what happened. Like Tony Doherty was like, oh, so what are you squatting? I just turned around like all of it and just turned around and ignored him.
Yeah.
These people are there, but I guess, like I said, it goes back to that thing where I'm in my head. I didn't care if it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm not going to get up off my ass to just be like, oh my God.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
no, I'm here to compete.
Yeah.
The people that jumped up and ran over there, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you here to like compete? Are you here to win?
Exactly.
You're here to get get your job done,
Yeah.
or are you here to fuck around? You know, if you're up, jumping up and down, like fucking around, how serious are you taking it?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I like it. I dig it. I really dig it.
Absolutely. How do you feel about Pro Raw being at the Arnold's and the exposure and stuff?
I think it's great for the sport. It was good at PTC headquarters, a bit more chilled, but I think so far it's been really good exposure for the sport.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And just like from a personal perspective, what would you like to see happen with the sport? Like, do you want to see big arenas, like big spectacles, or?
I'd like to see big crowds like, you know, like at the Arnold's, but just at a powerlifting meet.
Yeah.
You know, at like a GPC Nationals, having a crowd that big.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it does help some people. Like I said, it's good to, you know, after that final deadlift to just see the crowd and acknowledge them. But I think it's great for the sport, like having those people there watching.
Yeah.
You know, you feel supported.
Yeah, for sure. It was interesting at the Arnold's because, like, when you looked out over the crowd, obviously there was a lot of people you wouldn't normally see at powerlifting meets.
Yeah.
Like a lot of bodybuilders, a lot of like martial arts type people. How much do you think that's going to carry over? Like, do you think those people are now going to come and watch meets, or do you think it's just purely the fact that they were there?
I don't know if they'll come and watch meets. I think that they might have, you know, have it sitting there in the back of their head, hopefully, and they might go to the gym and try and get a bit stronger. They'll be like, oh, I want to be as strong as those people.
Yeah.
You know,
Start following.
we know that being strong is going to benefit their martial arts. We know that, you know, training big lifts is going to help you get bigger for bodybuilding if that's your goal.
Yeah.
But it's just things that they need to realize. You know, ideally, it would be good if they came across.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if they're not competing, if they're just getting stronger, because who the fuck doesn't want to be strong?
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned off camera that you're doing some accessory work at a commercial gym.
Yeah.
No need to name the commercial gym or anything like that.
Yeah.
Have you witnessed anything kind of comical? Because, I mean, you see those gym fail vids of dudes prawning and dudes doing some dumb shit, trying to resemble powerlifters or...
You see, like I see like a lot of high squats, like a lot of risk of injury. You see like a lot of PTs just getting their clients to do dodgy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Like walking lunges with like a weight over their head when they've got no knee stability. Just like, were you trying to injure this 40-year-old woman? Like, what are you doing? So I see stupid shit all the time, but they just don't know any better.
Yeah.
You know. So what really can you do?
So you've never seen a situation where you've had to run over and go, please stop doing what you fucking
No, nah. Well, they've done it, but I'm not going to interrupt what they're doing if that's their choice, man. Like, you know, it's just because someone's squatting a mile high doesn't mean I should go and be like, oh, that's not a real squat, mate. It's, you know, everyone has their own goals, and I guess it's better that they're in the gym doing something than sitting on their ass doing nothing and getting fat and, you know, being a burden on our healthcare system.
So since pro, or in general, since you've been competing, have you noticed a lot of recognition? Like, if you go into commercial gyms, do people know who you are?
I don't think like people like recognize who I am, and that doesn't really bother me. They definitely look at me weirdly.
Yeah.
Over here, I get weird looks all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They just stare at you. Yes, how's that? Oh, okay.
Just checking it out.
You've got live viewers.
They definitely look at me differently.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I'm short and nuggety. I go in there and I don't even do anything heavy there, which is weird, but I guess it's heavy for them.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just accessory work, so
Yeah.
they definitely look at you differently.
Yeah. Haven't had any weird shit through social media? People contact you?
Oh, there's one guy there, Vincent. He annoys the shit out of me.
This is at the gym?
At the gym, yeah. The worst thing is, like, he's like 22-year-old kid. Has the potential to be really strong,
Yeah.
but his head's just so far up his ass that he's never going to get there.
Right.
So you definitely see people with, you know, potential to be strong, and some of them do recognize you, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, social media helps.
Yeah, for sure.
Isaiah, can you close that door, buddy? You're laughing's on camera, man. The whole of YouTube's going to know you're silly.
Just with Pro Raw, is there anything you'd like to see changed for next year? Like, is there any areas where you think it can be improved upon? Or
Just the seating.
Yeah.
And that fucking DJ horn. That'd be the only thing.
Yeah.
If the seating, if they had some like stadium type seating, like they did last year for the strongman, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
If they had that at the back, so people could actually sit down, set up, and get a better view, because a lot of people wanted to be there and watch, but they couldn't see properly because the crowd was so bloody big, and the seating was all flat. It's just like you gotta,
Yeah. Do you think it would be better having stadium style seating or better having the lifters on a stage? Like elevate the lifters or elevate the spectators? Which one?
Elevate the spectators, because you elevate the stadium, like elevate the podium, and you're still gonna have the same issue where people are just sitting down, they can't see anything. You get the big crowds all standing around, and you got to try and look over top of someone's head. Whereas if you have the stadium seating, you have that at the back, a whole bunch of people sitting in the middle. You can sort of streamline that a bit. Whereas you're still gonna have the same issues with the crowd, even if the podium's lifted.
Yeah, for sure. And where do you see powerlifting going in this country? Like, do you like the way that it's heading? Are there any things you don't like about it?
I like where the sport's heading. I think Marcos is doing a great job of pushing the sport to, bigger and better things in Australia. Which is great because it means better opportunities for me and other people, to compete.
Yeah, for sure.
The bigger it gets here, the more chances of stronger people than me coming over to compete, and I get to compete against them. And that's really what I want to do. I like competing against people. I don't care if you're stronger than me. I still want to compete against you. So that's, for me, is why I wanted to grow.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you thought about international competition?
Gonna ask the same thing.
Look, I would do an international competition if it was the right one, and if it was with, I guess a federation where the standards were good. You get a few dodgy US federations who are a little bit relaxed on the rules. You see some shocking calls. Everyone makes bad calls, but provided that the calls were going to be good, I'd go. Yeah, cool. And if the competition was there, 100%.
Yeah, cool. Is there anyone on an international level that you look at, not necessarily as direct competition, but is there anyone that perhaps you would like to specifically compete against or aspire to compete against?
At the moment, probably, I would like to compete against John Hack and Ben Pollack.
Okay.
They're both strong guys. They competed at the US Open. I would have loved to have been there competing at 82.5. That would have been great. Yeah. They're strong dudes. 100%.
Yeah, cool. Any, what's your future goals? Is there specific stuff you're trying to do?
Yeah, there is. So that's what I was saying. Hopefully this will be my last comp at 82.5 because I don't want to be at 82.5 ever. Yeah. I would like to total 10 times body weight, throughout the weight classes, from 82.5 to 90 to 100. Yeah, that's fucking right.
1,000 at 100, it's coming.
That is the goal. Over 1,000 at 100 is the goal.
So that's the golden number. You want to hit 1,000 at 100.
Yeah, so that'll be the golden number for me, and then I'd probably compete at 110 as well. Okay. I'm talking years to come. I'm planning on doing this for a long time. Yeah. Nationals, I just want Ed's deadlift record at 82, and I'm done. Yeah. Mainly because I've given him so much shit about it that I sort of have to do it.
So that's what you're chasing right now.
Yeah.
So if you hit that, that's when you go up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We're going to have to tag Ed in this one when he knows he's coming.
But that said, Ben Pollack is competing, I think, next weekend, and he's planning on cutting to 82.5 again. Okay. And he just put up a video of him he pulled 8:15 for a triple.
Okay.
Deads weren't fucking locked. Hope he gets tagged in this. No, look, if he beats that deadlift record before I do, I'm just going to have to beat that as well. Yeah. I'm hoping that the way that my deads are going, that I have enough there to do it. Yeah. In July.
So total over 1,000 with an under 200 bench?
That's probably what's going to happen, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the goals, life goals, would be to squat 400. Yeah. It used to be, my short-term goal was to squat 300. Yeah. Now I'd like to squat 400. Yeah. And deadlifts, the way they've been going, I don't know. I wanted to pull 400, but I want to pull 400 within the next year or two, I think. I don't care what I weigh when I do it. Yeah. But probably, ideally, 90 kilos. I'd like to do it in meet at 90.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. what sort of stage are you thinking for that? Like, is that something you'd want to do at pro, or is that something you'd want to do, say, in the battles where there is no weight?
With things like that, I'd probably want to do it where there's a weigh-in.
Yeah.
It just, as much as I don't like weigh-ins, like it does mean a little bit more to
Concrete.
yeah. With those numbers, you got to have like a body weight there.
For sure.
It just means more to general population.
Yeah.
That's important, I guess, for recognition.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to go back to your training quickly. What time of the day do you normally train?
Whenever I can.
Yeah. So it's just completely dependent on work schedule.
Yeah. So, because I'm not working in a hospital anymore.
Yeah.
It's good because I have a little bit more regular times.
Yeah.
So my work times I usually finish between 2 and 4 o'clock, and I'll come home, just get changed and train straight after that. So it could be anywhere between, 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Cool. Do you notice much of a difference with your training times, or it's just more based around like other life shit that's going on?
Yeah, it's mainly just other life stuff that affects it.
Yeah. Cool. And how many days a week do you train?
Just 4 days a week.
Yeah.
So the way Tom programs is just 4 days a week training.
Yeah.
When I used to program for myself, it was 6 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you split your days?
Well, squats Monday, bench Tuesday, deadlift Thursday, bench Friday.
All right. So 2 pressing days and pull
Yeah.
squat. Cool. And you're.
Close the door, Isaiah. I don't even know what he said
Awesome.
just then.
It's on camera either way.
Isaiah, just stop it, please.
With your second press day,
Yeah.
what do you do? Is it just all accessory stuff? Like, how do you target? What do you target with your second press day? I'm assuming one is a comp style day and the other is.
Honestly, I feel like they're both just heavy bench days.
Okay.
But my bench sucks. Like I said, I can have days where I've. You're hungry? Can you go ask Jay for something, please? She's in the kitchen. Yeah, I feel like both days are heavy. And with my accessory work for my upper body days, I don't do what Tom tells me to. Look, my only thing is I do a little bit more volume than what my coach tells me to.
Yeah.
So that's mainly because, even though I said before that I'm not eating enough calories to grow, I guess,
Yeah.
I still try to train to increase my upper body mass.
Yeah. Okay. So, how you said a couple of times your bench is shit.
Yeah.
What's your goal with your bench? Like, how are you trying to increase your bench? Is it just purely, have you changed the way that you're programming, or have you changed technique stuff?
Yes, Isaiah. If it means you're going to stop interrupting us, yes. Okay.
So, just to reiterate what I was saying, is it mostly your programming that you're changing, or are you trying to change technique stuff? Like, how are you trying to improve your bench?
Honestly, I trying to add at the moment, like I said, mass to my upper body.
Right.
I feel like, just with Tom's programming, I can try and follow as much as I can, but without like my supportive structures being, strong enough or have enough mass. Like, my bench isn't going to get stronger.
Yeah.
I can do program after program of pressing, but if my triceps are small, they're too small.
Yeah.
I still need to be bigger to be stronger.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's just trying to, like I said, add mass to my upper body.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's going to be the thing that helps my bench go up.
Yeah. So you said triceps, is that your weak point?
Oh,
Or you just talking in general?
Seeing how small my arms are. I think that's one of the things that always gets pointed out is how small my arms are.
Right.
I won Pro Raw 6. I finished pulling my last deadlift, and Emad comes walking over and he's like, oh, what did he say? He's like, oh, you've got the smallest arms. He's like, you don't even look like a powerlifter. I'm like, thanks, man.
Thanks, mate.
That was
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And like, I've had the first time I deadlifted 340, right? I was in the gym, just finished deadlifting it, sat down, and there was a guy in the gym that is a small gym where I used to train.
Yeah.
The guy, the first time he'd been in there, he's like, I don't get it. He's like, you're so strong, but your arms are so small. I was like, oh, fuck. I'm like, so yeah. Where were we? My small arms,
Yeah,
yeah.
the small arms. Yeah, so it's mostly just from a mass perspective.
Yeah, I feel like it 100% is just like a,
Yeah.
a mass thing definitely holding me back.
Yeah, cool. What about like with your training and stuff? If you're so obviously training on your own, we kind of spoke about the motivation before. Do you?
Pardon? You both can play it, please. Samson.
It's all good. Do you? Where I was heading with that was, do you use any like supplements, like pre-workouts? You drink coffee to motivate yourself to train? Is there certain music you listen to? Like, how do you get yourself going?
So, supplement-wise, I guess I have all different sorts of pre-workouts, stim-free.
Yeah.
I have multiple different stim like pre-workouts.
Mm-hmm.
I use them rarely,
Yeah.
mainly because the time of day that I do end up training,
Yeah.
I don't want to be, have too much stim in my system and then have to try and get to sleep and then have to get up at 6 a.m. for work.
Yeah.
I guess some people are okay with that, whereas I'm not.
Yeah.
So if I feel like I really need something, I'll use it. I like to not use pre-workout on squat and deadlift days because I feel like it just makes me feel sick.
Yeah.
So I'd use them on like an upper body day,
Yeah.
like a bench day, just because bench, again, I've said it enough times, is just shit.
Yeah.
So I really feel like pre-workout helps with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Music. I don't really feel like I listen to music just to get me hyped up, but I don't like training with like no sound at all or the radio, because the radio just ends up pissing me off.
Yeah.
So I listen to like a lot of either grime, I like grime, or Jedi Mind Tricks, or metal, like powerlifting cliche.
Yeah.
I'll chuck on some metal occasionally, but it's not my go-to.
Yeah. Do you actually pay any kind of attention to it, or is it just background noise?
It's just background noise. Yeah.
So even when you're trying to psych yourself up for big lifts, it's just everything's internalized.
Oh yeah, I honestly, like, even in training, I rarely psych myself up.
Yeah.
Because I just can't.
Yeah.
Like because I don't do it.
Yeah.
Like I can't do it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't put music on to try and psych myself up. No.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Cool. So on comp day, you were saying, you're usually in your own head and try to ignore people.
Yeah.
You don't walk around with headphones on or anything, obviously.
No, not at all. I'll just sit there, and I think if anyone's seen me in the warm-up room, they know the look on my face.
Yeah.
And Marcos has recorded it before, and taking photos. Yeah, I'm just...
Yeah.
It's generally like a don't fucking talk to me look on my face.
Yeah.
And it's not, to, put people off. It's just...
Yeah. They do work.
Yeah.
Do business.
That's pretty much what it is, yeah.
So what do you have running through your head? Like, how do you psych yourself up? Do you, like, break down lifts in your head, or is it just, like, what are you thinking about?
Winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't really think about too much. It's just, I guess sometimes it sounds a little bit weird, but I think if going out for like a deadlift, I was just like, just a lot of angry thoughts, a lot of angry thoughts. I just don't express it. I won't say what they are, but they're just a lot of very angry, aggressive thoughts.
Right.
And then bench is just, don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Keep my ass on. Like, I just remind myself to keep my ass on the bench.
Your cues.
Yeah, I think of my cues. And squats, it's just, I just think about driving my knees out. Because for me, that's just one of the most important things for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing really specific. It's just a lot of, if it is psyching myself up, it's just angry, aggressive thoughts.
Yeah.
And then, just the thought of winning, the thought of what I, reminding myself of my goals and what I'm there to do.
Yeah.
Just on that, and the thought of winning, you're obviously a competitive guy. I mean, you like to get out there on the platform.
Yeah.
You didn't play sports as a kid, you said that earlier.
Yeah.
Was there anything else when you were a kid you were super competitive? That cards, Xbox?
Look, I've got 4 other siblings. So I guess with my brothers, it was just, I have 2 brothers. Well, one's passed away, but it was just always, we just used to fight a lot. So I was the youngest and the smallest, so I didn't like losing fights.
Cool.
So I'd always choke them out. That's pretty much pretty much it. Like, I was competitive at that, and if I was playing video games, I'd get quite angry. If I lost, I'd get pretty aggressive. Quite often it ended up in a, punch up, so.
Yep.
but that's what kids
Just
do.
probably are.
Yeah,
Cool.
pretty much. Yeah.
Cool. So obviously, when you first started training, you were pretty fortunate that you had a decent coach right off the bat.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to people that are just starting?
Get a decent coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Get a decent coach.
Yeah.
Just train properly.
Yeah.
And really focus on like recovery, rehab straight from the start.
Yeah.
Because as a novice, you start to do these compound lifts, and if you've come from not doing powerlifting at all to all of a sudden you start doing, or squatting twice a week, deadlifting.
Yeah.
You're going to get pretty jacked up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And even if you've only just started doing it, you feel pretty good. But if you don't get on top of it straight away, you're just going to lead into issues down the track.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What specifically, like what sort of issues are you personally mindful of?
For me, I guess my hips are always an issue.
Yeah.
Always an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So more joint stuff over like soft tissue work and that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I don't get really any massage done.
Yeah.
Besides the stuff that I do on myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, just like a lot of focus on like movement, correct movement. A lot of stability work.
Yeah.
Not so much mobility. I don't think mobility work is a high priority.
Yeah.
As long as you can, do the movement you need to.
Yeah.
Just a lot of stabilization work, trigger pointing where I need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Any other specific advice for people, or like any other like a message you want to put out there?
Yeah. Train smart and hard.
Yeah.
It's not like people be like, oh, train smart, not hard. You got to do both.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most important things. I think people don't realize like how much training is actually required to get strong,
Yes.
or the amount of hours that you actually have to put into training.
Yeah.
I know there's some lifters there that'll go out and they'll do like, that's the dogs there. I know that there's some people that will, go to the gym and they'll hit, a couple of main sets of squats and they'll do fuck all accessory work.
Right.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Like you can't, like I don't think that you can get away with doing that for too long.
Yeah.
So I think the most important thing is do your main lifts, but also do your accessory work. Focus on a lot of unilateral work.
Yeah.
Like I said, stability is really important. People don't realize it, but focusing on making sure that everything is moving, on its own, but also as one.
Yeah.
So I'll do a lot of single leg work, a lot of single arm work as well.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference you've noticed, or what have you learned from when you were sort of doing your own doing your own programming, you're training 6 days, to now doing 4 days? Like, what have you learned between the two? Would you go back to 6?
No, not at all. I've learned that I used to train too much.
Yeah.
Like I got strong quickly, which is fine, but it beats your body up, and your recovery is just nowhere near as adequate.
Yeah.
As it's just not adequate.
Yeah.
Compared to 4 days, your recovery is so much better.
Yeah.
You go into sessions feeling fresh.
Yeah.
Ideally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not recommend training 6 days a week.
What about if those extra days are purely technique based?
I guess like I wouldn't really call that training then. It's more like active recovery.
Right.
I think if it's heavy enough that you're, I guess, causing damage to your muscles, then it's not really going to allow you to recover. But if it's just a broomstick or a bar, if you're squatting with a bar, I guess it's I would consider that not to be too hard, as long as it's not intense.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. I've pretty much covered everything that I had for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you got any extra stuff?
Plug anyone that you want to thank? Say what you will.
Call outs. You've already given Josh shit. You've already given
A
couple of people shit.
Who I give shit? Oh, Josh.
I want to message you as soon as we get home.
Oh, no, I don't really want to give anyone shit. Yeah. No, I can't think of anything.
No.
I don't need to plug anyone. You plug yourselves.
Well,
Awesome.
mate, thanks for your time.
Yeah.
That's been awesome.
Yeah.
One out of the box.
Yeah,
So,
very cool.
Yeah, really appreciate you doing this for us.
Well, it's not a problem. I hope I answered enough questions.
Yeah,
So did you get through everything?
Pretty much, I think so. I'll double check it later. I'm sure I'll probably miss something.
Oh, hope not, but yeah.
But no, very cool, a very refreshing approach to everything. Like just all about the job at hand, and it's very cool.
Sorry?
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Focus on yourself, not other people.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
for
good
sure.
message, I reckon.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Cool,
Thanks,
man.
mate.
Cheers. Cheers.
How long?